Hi, this is Renee and Kent Miller, and we are back again with our predictions series. This video will complete our predictions that we received while Kent was in meditation
in the year of?
December of 2007.
In the year of 2007.
And so
it only completes it for that year. We still have other years after that.
Yes. So what we're going to do is give you the prediction verbatim as it was received, and then we will offer suggestions for interpretation. We encourage you to use your own interpretations based on the data you're gathering.
Knowledge.
And then we will offer any suggestions as far as what you need to do to prepare. So we're going to share the screen and do a PowerPoint. And this starts with a collapse of the communication and the understanding that comes with that spiritual communication.
Yeah. So we figured that the springtime will separate the understanding, the communication. It will begin. We don't know which spring. We think it now has begun. But in the springtime, communication will be separated.
Actually, we noticed that in our own communications with our spirit guides that are called the ancients. Our primary guides are the ancients.
Our guides.
And they're ancient preceptors of the Creator or ancient teachers of the Creator. We noticed about 2015 that the communication was really getting sparse.
Yeah, it really started really 2017.
It lasted a couple of years. And even at that...
okay, it really started to wane and show its head the spring of 2017. That's when we started getting a whole lot less communication. And we couldn't understand why. What we understand now.
That is when you have a lot of atmospheric changes, and specifically the neuronet was under reconstruction. So what is the neuronet?
Well, it comprises all the plasmic fields of communication.
So spiritual communication travels on charged atoms that form plasmic cords, and they call it the neuronet. We go into much more detail with our regular series under our lessons from the augmentation of man, a study in Renaissance.
So it says the hollow is the tune. Atmospheric vibrations. Hollow is the conduit. What is the hollow?
So they're just saying, and this is my interpretation, that the conduit for communication, or the neuronet, is hollow. There's nothing being channeled over those communication lines.
You can't see nothing, just very little.
Right.
And
so the descending will decrease, meaning the communication coming down to Earth will decrease, and our ascending will decrease also.
Decrease.
So, and that is because this communication delivers an understanding that increases our understanding, but also our vibration with that understanding.
I used to get profound communication almost on a daily basis, but now it's maybe once a week if I'm fortunate.
And that has to do with a lot of things, the neuronet being one, but also any atmospheric conditional changes will affect communication. So, for example, solar winds, EMPs, even a full moon distorts the field, and it affects spiritual communication.
Okay, the descending, or what comes down to Earth, will decrease. We already discussed that. a stagnant field, vibrational overtures to what's coming. So the stagnant field, in other words, we were talking about less and less, and they're showing us what is coming as far as communication is concerned. So with that, the cornice to understanding is collapsing, and the cornice is the structure of material to come together, to bring them together. And so basically, the whole thing,
The whole structure is collapsing. So that spiritual communication and higher vibrational levels of understanding is coming or has come to a halt for the most part.
Now, I'm not saying it collapsed in 2007. This is all telling us what is coming from 2007, and we can start to see it now in 2019.
Well, we were seeing it in 2015. So now we see the rise of Russia.
Well, it says the hammer and sickle will arise, a new beginning. What is the hammer and sickle? Russia.
It represents the Russian flag.
It's showing us that Russia will, in 2007, is showing us in the coming years, Russia will arise, a new beginning for Russia. Caution, caution, caution. You see the hammer and sickle flag flying over somewhere, Georgia, a land, and it said it should not be there. And I think, why were the Russians in Georgia in the United States? How did they let, well.
He initially thought that the message was about Georgia, the state of Georgia in the United States. And then it wasn't too long after that
they took over Georgia, the country of Georgia.
Russia invaded Georgia. So they're talking about Pakistan being overridden.
It's not going to be conquered.
So who do you think that it might be overridden by?
It might have been overridden already. We don't
know. By terrorists?
Many things were happening in Pakistan over the last several years. And so it's hard to put your finger and say, okay, this person has overridden Pakistan.
Or a group, most likely a group of people.
So,
not conquered, but they're taken over from within,
the
sort of thing.
Will be taken over from within.
Okay.
So
Russia will intercede somehow.
Well, it said no, not in Pakistan. It said Russia will intercede. Not like a war, though. It's not like fighting. And where have they interceded in the last couple of years? Syria, now Venezuela. But no war is we're not fighting Russia. Okay, but it's they have interceded in different areas.
And so what we're seeing is the rise of Russia and their influence over the world.
Yeah.
So this kind of jumps to more of a Native American theme, and it's regarding a sign that is the red horizon. And so when this starts, it's talking about serrated edges, and
everyone knows what a serrated edge is on a knife.
Yeah, but our guides use this as a metaphor for the ups and downs of an event. So they're talking about the serrated edges, and I'm gonna decrease this.
Just move it up
for just a second here. It's not
okay. Just there we go.
Okay. So it's all going to cut through the heart of man. The knife will begin to cut the fabric of the earth. And so we have found from other lessons that the heart of humanity is integrally tied to the earth. Our DNA is dialed into the vibration of the earth. And so whatever happens to the earth is going to affect us. And I think that's what this is talking about.
So the canyons. Now, this is not all these different bullet points do not all come in the same page, the same meditation. These are meditations that we got during this period of time. Okay.
During the month of December
Yes.
2007.
And it's different meditations.
Two different ones.
The canyons create creation,
He's not feeling well.
rejuvenation. The winds bind the souls of ancient past. The winds speak in the canyons. They speak of the past, and they can speak what is happening now.
And so the knife will begin to cut the fabric of the earth. I think that goes back to maybe volcanic and earthquake activity. We've received a lot of that. But that the canyons will recreate and rejuvenate life on earth. And the winds bind the souls of the ancient past. So we've been told personally that we need to go back and reconnect with our ancient past, who we are on soul level. And that when we have this reconnection with the higher self, which is a part of the soul that guides the learning process, that when that occurs, we will also recognize other people from past lives and our ties with each other in an eternal sense.
I was I had a vision sitting on a piece of property, looking down through the canyons. And I'm looking from a high point, looking at the horizon, and the horizon turns red. It's like a vibrational red, but it's not a red as you would think it. It's more like a dust red. It's a different kind of red, projecting the trouble outside of ourselves, in the world, outside. And this is the beginning of what is about to happen.
That also has a significance for the Native Americans.
That's what I understand later on. We found out the significance from the Hopi. We didn't know this at the time. So the Native Americans, we found out, they will dance on the plains and plateaus as they see this vibration.
This is the actual prediction that
Yeah.
was received.
And they understand what this prediction means, what this red sky means.
And we have to guess at this in that understanding some of the oral traditions of the Native Americans, especially the Hopi, in that they may see this as a sign that the fourth world is coming to an end, and
The fourth world has ended.
And that the fifth is beginning.
Yeah, because when I was sitting there and seeing this, I said, it is now begun. So that's the end of the fourth world, the world as we know it now. And it will create the beginning of the fifth world.
So we're talking about grand cycles that are tied to cycles of learning. So it completes a cycle of perceptual learning, which is based on perception, not necessarily the truth. And then begins a cycle of conceptual learning, which is the ability to take several data points and connect the dots for a bigger picture and a larger understanding.
At the time I received this, I didn't really understand what it meant. And as we progressed in our journey, and we begin to understand the meaning of it. So the world is
Ours.
ours.
And this
That's
is,
what they say.
yeah, this is covered up. This is actually what was received in the meditation.
Well, I saw the year 2008 on a New Year's ball. And it falls and crashes on top of a building. And the top of the building falls over. Like 2008 is going to come crashing down. Now remember, I saw this in 2007.
Right.
Okay?
And this is one of the few times that you've gotten a date. This has happened before. A couple of, it was a couple of prediction videos back, but probably about part 13 on our prediction
But
series.
yeah, I normally do not get dates because time is man's interpretation of what going from place to place, going from point A to point B. There's no such thing as time as as mankind understands it. But I did get this particular date. Then I also got Bush will run for world presidency. Now remember, predictions are all on a fluid level of understanding. When the prediction is made, it depends on how mankind reacts at that particular time and their thoughts. Okay? So if mankind acts on their thoughts at that particular time, a lot of predictions will happen. If mankind changes their thoughts or their mind, then the prediction may not happen. The only thing that can be truly said will happen is the predictions based on on Earth events, volcanic activity, earthquake stuff. Those are cyclical. Those are saying those will happen, but mankind cannot be held to what they think because they change their mind so often, and the events that they create change.
And also, man has this tendency to interpret the predictions incorrectly, and then from that incorrect interpretation, they try to force that event to happen when it is not a part of the natural cycle.
Right.
And so we need to let things unfold naturally and not try to force the event to happen. Right. This is all about our learning. So yes, there are a lot of end time predictions, but they're being misinterpreted for the most part, yeah, and manipulated to an ending that is expected, but not necessarily the ending that should be.
Right. So I saw thousands, and I say thousands, poor people that don't have much of anything dying, and the rich are laughing and actually getting richer. And then I saw the poor people are dying all over the world, and the rich are getting richer. Now, I'm saying, how can that be? Well, we can see it now.
Yeah.
We can see it recently within the last couple of years. And if the weather is bad, the weather is getting worse, and the people are dying. Are they dying from the rich, or are they dying from the weather?
They're dying from weather events. In fact, we just had, India just had a weather event, a cyclone in which many people died. And we're seeing this all over the world. There's a lot of speculation with that. And there's a lot of conspiracies with that. But it has been predicted for us. It was something that we were told was going to happen. And for at least a couple of reasons. One being that our ionosphere is being tampered with by our technology, and it's all over the world. Yeah. But it is causing changes within the charged particles of our ionosphere. And what we were told is our weather is influenced by the ionosphere. So if we change that, we're changing weather patterns.
How can the rich come out of saying the rich are laughing and saying the world is hard? Well, I figure the rich have enough resources that if they see a huge volcanic activity or huge storm coming into a particular part of the world, they just go to a different part of the world and nothing is happening. And they'll constantly try to move around the world with their resources to keep out of harm's way. So there, they think, well, the world is theirs. And it really isn't. They're going to find out it's going to become so climatically changed that they're going to be caught up in all this, and all their money and all the resources will not
save them.
No.
Okay, so pressure begins to rise, and this is talking a lot about atmospheric pressures, but when we get through this page, you'll realize that it's talking about the atmospheres around the human race, not around the Earth. So you had seen a lot of lightning.
I saw a lot of lightning. I mean, a lot. Most everybody has seen lightning. This is humongous amounts of lightning in the atmosphere. And
it may have to do with natural events in the atmosphere, but it might be metaphoric too,
well, the
right?
atmospheric pressures are going to rise.
And but again, you know, I had said when we get through this that it may not be the atmosphere around the Earth, but rather the atmospheres that humanity's creating,
That's
right?
true, yeah, because
So
it says things are going to be building up. Things are building and building and building, but there is no crescendo. And that's the tension between mankind, the different races, the different ideologies, etc. here on Earth. We can see that today.
yeah, there's a lot of tension today. And so we were reminded yesterday that going through another reading that there would be so much chaos, and we need to watch for these events and be cognizant of them, but not to be caught up into it, and not to, especially not caught up into the polarity of the event, because what it does is it brings down our own vibration to a lower level.
Yeah, don't get caught in the drama.
Don't get sucked up into the declining character caused from these events.
Yeah, we're going to have enough to think about as Earth begins to change, without worrying about the people in your community, what they do, what color they are, how their ideologies are, etc. That is going to be immaterial compared to what the Earth has got coming.
And to a great degree, we're being manipulated. So keep that in mind, and do your own research.
And that's what we encourage. Do your own research to see what's going to do. You don't have to depend on what we say. You can do your own research to verify what we say, but do your own research.
If you're going to watch mainstream media, I would suggest that you...
That's wrong there.
Yeah, you know, keep it in mind that we're being manipulated through the media, and not to take...
I'm talking all the media.
Yeah. The best thing to do, if you're going to do that, is to skip around from channel to channel and see what each one is saying about a given event, so that you can make your own decision, and try not to be polarized. Try to be neutral, because when we are polarized to, especially right now, the political field, we tend to be very polarized left or right, and there's no middle ground. We're not being neutral, so we will only see things in a polarized view, and we won't be seeing the truth.
So with that information we've given you today, you're going to have to think for yourself and quit depending on others' thoughts, okay? And begin to become self-aware. And I'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Yes, and do keep in mind that, you know, we're going to go through a rough period of time where you're going to need some food stores, so be working on that.
Okay. With that, thanks for joining us.
Have a good weekend, and as always, many blessings on your path.
Journey.
Yes. Take care now. Bye-bye.